Welcome back everybody to Forza Motorsport. So I'm going to be splitting this latest championship, the Pony Car Showdown, into 3 parts because there's 6 races, and yeah, I just don't have the time at the right now to be doing 3 races in a row. So it's going to be 2 races for this episode and then 2 for the subsequent 2 parts of this championship as well. So yeah, I really am a big fan of 60s and 70s pony cars, muscle cars, whichever way you want to call them. I'm just a huge fan of them, the way they look, the power, the drivability and whatnot. Yeah, they're not the easiest of cars to drive and neither are they the best, but they are real fun to drive. So let's see what we're going to be driving in and where we're going to be driving at.
In 1964, Ford's stylish Mustang was such a radical design departure for American-made sedans that it spawned a new motorsports performance class named after it. Pontiac. Competing American manufacturers immediately jumped in to deliver even more aggressive, sleek designs, some with enormous V8 engines and advanced 4-on-the-floor manual transmissions, producing unheard-of straight-line acceleration at 40 miles. So drivers building these classics now must possess true modifying ingenuity and wit on these twisting road courses.
Yeah, because a lot of these cars were only made for straight line speed. We're not made for going around corners. So yeah, so let's see what we get to choose from. So we've got the 1971 AMC Javelin AMX. Now this has been the most common AMC I think that we've ever had across Forza games. Then it would be the other one that I'm completely forgetting right now. The Machine, yeah, that one. That's the second one, and then the Pacer and the AMC Hornet, I think it is, from the James Bond film, The Man with the Golden Gun, will be the last place one. So yeah, we've not really had much from AMC in the past, but yeah, this is a fairly good one as far as they go. As you can see, 6.6 litre V8, 330 horsepower and 430 pounds-feet of torque. And unlike a lot of the muscle in this period, it doesn't weigh that much in comparison at 3,445 pounds. Obviously that's a lot in comparison to some, sports sedans and whatnot from Europe from the same time, but still not particularly heavy. Then we got the 1970s Chevrolet Camaro Z28, smaller engine but more power but less torque, and also slightly more in the way of weight. But I believe this is probably a better handling car. No, it's not. Oh well. Then we got the Chevrolet Camaro Super Sport Coupe, 6.5 litre V8, so bigger than the Camaro, but the newer Camaro, but less than the Javelin, but even more power than either of those, although slightly less than weight and torque than the Javelin. But yeah, 375 horsepower is a huge amount, but again the weight goes up, and the weight is not much better in the 1970 Dodge Challenger RT, well known for being in the film Vanishing Point in white. Fantastic film, but yeah, massive amount of power in this, 425 horsepower and 490 pounds-feet of torque on a 7 litre V8. Yeah, gargantuan engine, and even though it's not as heavy as say the Camaro, it is a lot wider. And then we've got the Ford Mustang Boss 302, smallest engine here I believe at 4.9 litres, and yeah, comfortably got the way less power at 290 horsepower and 290 pounds-feet of torque, but it does also crucially weigh a lot less. And yeah, this has far better handling as well, as you can see. And yeah, then we've got the Mercury Cougar Eliminator, again a massive 7 litre V8 but way less than the Challenger has, 335 horsepower but a decent amount of torque of 440, and it does weigh slightly less than the Challenger. Then we've got the Plymouth Cuda 426 Hemi, shares the same engine with the Challenger, but as you can see it has far more in the way of weight at 3,880 pounds. So yeah, it's a pretty heavy weight, but this is probably the most expensive car to buy second hand nowadays. It's highly sought after by collectors, so yeah, that's a big one there. And then we've got the 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, same size engine as the AMC, but slightly more in the way of power and the same amount of torque, and pretty much the same in the way of weight as well. But this has decent enough handling, yeah, but none of these have great handling overall, as you can see. Mustang is the one with the highest handling there, 1.4. But is it my favourite? That's the point. I typically go for cars that I like the most in terms of driving. The Javelin isn't my favourite by any means. It's a good car, but the top speed on that is absolutely woeful. I think it was out of puff before 130, whereas as you can see, a lot of these are a lot better in terms of speed, especially the Challenger and the Cuda. I really do like a Trans Am, or a Firebird should I say, but I much prefer the 1968 version of this car. The Boss is the obvious one to go for, I feel, given its handling is superior. But I like a Challenger. I'm going to go for a Trans Am. It's a car that has a racing series named after it after all, and it is a decent amount of power into it. Doesn't weigh all that much, weighs less than the Cuda, weighs less than the Mercury, weighs more than the Mustang but less than the Challenger, the Camaros and the Javelin, so it's the second lightest here, but it has more power than the Ford does, so yeah, we'll go for the Firebird Trans Am. Love the paintwork that it's got going on it as well. I really like those quad headlights and that split grille that it's got going for it, as well as the spoiler on the rear end. Right, so we're on Eagle Rock Speedway for the Oval. Not a particularly exciting race, to be honest, but we'll just go straight in and just see what this car can do in stock form. So yeah, I don't like oval circuits, to be honest. I do find them too boring, monotonous, repetitive, whatever kind of words you want to use for them, quite frankly. We currently don't have the update for this game, so we have to go through the practice things first, which yeah, it is annoying and quite pointless, and thankfully they have seen the light of day with that, and yeah, are going to allow you to skip the practice from the start of the race rather than, you know, having to do all of this first, which will certainly cut down on any unnecessary cutscenes. So yeah, you've got ram air on this as well. That is functional, by the way, those scoops on the hood. How much extra power it gives you, I'm not sure, but yeah, they are functional hood scoops. They are not there just for decoration. And that's the thing about American cars from this period. They did have a lot of functionality to the way that their designs look like. Sure, I'm pretty sure the spoilers and whatnot didn't do really anything, but you had, you know, hoods that had ram airs, you had hoods with this rev counter on them, you even had some that would open up the a scoop on the hood itself when it got to a certain rate of speed. I think that's the oh, what is it? It's a Plymouth. I'm forgetting now. GTX, I think it's called. Yeah, that opens up at a certain rate of speed, the hood on the scoop on that hood. So yeah, which is really cool. This does not have any of that though, outside of the functional scoops. But that should be more than enough to keep this car's engine happy. So yeah, this is basically a road car version of NASCAR. One Pontiac I've always wanted on a Forza game is the Pontiac Le Mans. It was used famously in the French Connection chase scene against the subway train. It's not technically a car chase. I know a lot of people do call it a car chase, but it's technically just a chase scene because, you know, there isn't another car involved. So it's a one car chasing a subway train through New York. But it is fantastic. Like Pontiac Le Mans does get the living hell beaten out of it, and it just keeps on going forwards. It's probably not the most remarkable of cars used in a chase scene. You know, it doesn't have the flashiness of a Mustang or a Challenger or a Charger, but I just like it, especially in terms of the way it's used in that scene. And you know, it's at the end of the day another Pontiac that we've not had. We've had a good variety of Pontiacs over the course of Forza games. Even the god-awful Aztec is something that I somewhat miss, just because, you know, it's fun to rail on, and oh dear, get a few laughs out of how hilariously bad it is. certainly one of my favourite cars to review on a Forza game. It's because it was really rather cathartic just to lay into the car, because quite frankly there was very little about it that was actually positive, and plenty that wasn't a positive, chief among which was the asthmatic engine that was a sizable V6 but just had no power to it whatsoever. Not helped out by the gearbox or the immense weight of the car or the fact it was front-wheel drive. But this Pontiac is definitely one of my more favourite ones. Like I said, I do prefer the 68 Firebird to this one. Just like the simplicity of that 1968 version, you know, it's not relying on spoilers or paint jobs or anything like that. It's just a simple, sizable V8 rear-wheel drive, 4-speed gearbox. Nothing complex about it, but it's real fun to drive. How many more laps? A few more.
3 laps.
I said that. Tell me. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of ovals. Especially ones like this that are really rather quite small. Just not able to get your car up to any reasonable amount of speed. Cars like this that don't particularly have the handling for this kind of thing. It's just not fun to drive in, quite frankly. But at least they're short. Stay in 4th gear for the entire time on this race. To be honest though, I would like more muscle cars, pony cars that we've never had before or not had for a while. Because there are plenty out there. '60s and '70s was a huge boom for that kind of car. Obviously it kind of died off towards like '73, '74 when the fuel oil crisis came in. And, you know, horsepower ratings just dropped through the floor basically. Because it came up with the laziest ways possible to make cars economical, or at least tried to. But regardless, there's a Trans Am giving us a decent 4th place position. But not quite as high in terms of PI as the car behind us or the ones in front, so yeah, we can definitely make up for that with some upgrades, although I doubt we're going to be able to get that many. But let's see nonetheless. Oh, another oval. Talk about boring my pants off. Right, okay then. Right, fine. Right, we'll do the tyres. Give us a little bit of extra grip at the rear. What did we do there? 315s. No, we can't go that wide at the front, unfortunately. Let's go for the 245s. No, back to upgrades. And then we'll give it a little bit of a kick in terms of power. Can't do that much, clearly. Nope, just have to do the air filter into sport. Alright then, so we've got 4 extra horsepower and whatever in terms of pound-feet of torque, and a bit more grip up front and at the rear with those wider tyres. Right, so let's see what this second and final race for this episode has in store for us. Right, let's do another oval race, which is not going to be exciting at all, but at least at Homestead-Miami Speedway we have much longer straights, so we will get up to some much better rates of speed here. I just remembered that I did not do my fuel in the last race, which was not helpful. Right, so yeah, let's see what we can do now with wider tyres and a bit extra grip and a little bit of extra power on top of that. But there are obviously plenty of cars here that still have more power than we do, even when they're in stock form, never mind if they've been upgraded. Why are any of you braking? It's an oval. You let off when you're going around the corners or around these rather than braking. You certainly don't have to be braking if you're just starting off on this place. Down the banking, getting some speed from gravity. Whoa! Did not see that there. Could came out of nowhere braking. It's a shame the muscle car roster on this game isn't quite as strong as it has been on previous games. Again, know why. I know fully well why, because, you know, it's all about the cars that are fast or iconic or whatnot. It's not about variety or anything like that. So yeah, that's why the muscle cars in this are quite lacking. And I highly doubt it's down to licensing or anything like that, because we've got plenty of cars here that we've had before. No muscle cars that we've never had though, so that's a big shame. Would have liked to have seen at least a few that are brand new to the Forza series, but nope. Cars that are brand new to the Forza series are seemingly, in terms of road cars at least, are seemingly the preserve of Forza Horizon 5, which is still doing a fantastic job in terms of adding cars that we've never had in a Forza game before. Brand new car pack with the Chinese Lucky Stars car pack, and then the current series is throwing in 5 cars that we've never had before. So yeah, it's just constantly showing up this game when it comes to the car list. And we've got even more to come, because apparently we're recentering off the focus for the next series to Europe, and hopefully there's going to be new cars from there. I'm really looking forward to that, because obviously Europe has obviously many different brands we can pick from. Some we've not had from, or many from before, or only maybe one before. I'd love to see more from De Tomosa, I think it's called that. They did the Pantera. And then more from Citroën and Peugeot. Very few from both of those manufacturers. I'd like to see the Citroën DS make a return. Fantastic car. A revolution in car engineering that car was back in the 50s and 60s. But again, we've had that before, so yeah, if they put that in, it would be nice to have it, but have it as like a reward, not as one of the ones to gain via points. Have more incentive to you know, gain those points when with cars that we've never had before. It's like, what is it for the current series? Slaved away with the first ever season on the current series and got all of the 80 points in that series, or that season, just to get the 80 point car award, which was the Hyundai Ioniq 6. I don't think I've done that before in terms of getting all of the points in the first season, and yeah, I was kind of really eager to get to that car, so it was well worth doing. Come on, gain on first place. I think it's the Camaro, which obviously does have more power than we do. We have less weight, which should make us better for the corners. Is that Camaro? I can't tell. I always struggle with Camaros because I'm used to seeing them with the headlights not showing. So when they are, you know, being used and therefore showing, it's sometimes hard for me to recognise them or not. Last lap.
Let's go.
Come on. Let's make up for that 4th position in the first race. Yeah, I just don't find oval racing to be all that challenging, to be honest, so that's why I find it quite boring, outside of the fact that you're just going round and round and round. And I'm sure it's challenging in real life and scary as hell when you've got people bumping into you from behind and 200 mile an hour and whatnot, but for a racing game it's not the most exciting thing ever. But we did get 1st place. Oh, it was another fellow Pontiac, did not recognise it. But yeah, then the Mustang was in 3rd, so let's see what that does for the points overall. So yeah, we're not in 1st place yet, but we have gained 2 places to get into 2nd, so that is good. And the other Pontiac has followed us as well, going up 4 points over where it was before, and the Camaros have dropped back quite significantly as a result of that. So yeah, but still everything to play for the next 2 races. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.